In Chapter 9, I talk about selling eggs to retail stores. In this quick training, I go into a little bit more detail to help you sell your eggs to retail stores. Daniel O'Brien here from Chicken Caravan. Today I want to talk to you about how you sell directly to retail stores and do that initial marketing. Okay, this is a technique that I've used to market eggs to many stores right around Australia, and I've found it to work really effectively. It's something I sort of stumbled upon and also tried different things and tested and measured the results. So I'll get straight to the point. What you do, you get a box of eggs with 6 dozen eggs in it. Now the reason you do 6 dozen is you're handing out samples. If you go into a store with a price list tucked inside a 1 dozen carton and you pop it on the counter and then you follow up a few days later, that dozen eggs, for whatever reason, it'll get lost and no one will see it and no one will know about it for whatever reason. If you do 6 dozen eggs and your price list on top, it just gets their attention. So I normally walk into a store and I'll just put this box down near the counter on the floor, and if there's a staff member there, I'll just go, I've just got a sample delivery for you, and they'll go, oh okay, and most of the time if they're busy they'll go, okay, no worries. And then as I put it down, I let go of it, and then I'm starting to walk out the door and I say, excuse me, what's the manager's name? Because I'll give them a call in a couple of days, and they'll say, oh, it's Jenny, it's Fred. I'm like, no worries, I'll call in a couple of days after you've seen the samples. And I get out of there. So the reason I get out of there, because if I'm in the shop and I'm still holding the eggs, and they're like, it gives them an opportunity to say no, of like, no, we've already got eggs, and no, I don't think we need any. And then I'm like, oh, well, I better take them out. If I've already put them down and like, well, I'm out of here, then they've got to deal with them. And what they find, if there's 6 dozen eggs in there, it's harder for them to get rid of them, so to speak, opposed to 1 dozen eggs. 1 dozen eggs comes in, I'm a busy manager and I'm like, oh, trainee, take these home. Like, I don't really want to know about them, I'm busy. If there's 6 dozen, it's like, oh, okay, I better take 1 home. I better send 1 home with you, 1 home with the trainee. Oh, you're my best customer, here, take these home. Someone dropped some samples in. I've got to get rid of them, and I'm getting more people involved. It's very rare that the manager is going to take all 6 dozen eggs home himself. So I've just found it a lot more effective to use 6 dozen eggs, and also it's a little bit more generous rather than going, oh, I'm only going to give you half a dozen or 12 eggs. Give them 6 dozen. You've got them there, use them for marketing. In the box, it's got a price list. Now on the price list, it's got your logo, whatever your farm name is, and your logo. Then the price of your eggs. So here I've got $5.50 a dozen, and in brackets $82.50 per box of 15 dozen eggs. That's what a standard carton of eggs is. Like, it's a box that'll hold 15 dozen, so it's a bit bigger than this box. The days you deliver, so on here I've just said deliveries to your store is every Thursday, but you might find you're going into town every Tuesday and every Friday, so put that on there. Like, let them know when the deliveries are going to be. Don't keep them in the dark. Put photos of your farm there. It doesn't matter if you put more. Like, sometimes I used to do like a 2-pager, which would have a bit of an introduction and photos, and then the second page is your price list, or printed on the back. If you're happy to do so, I'd encourage you, put a photo of you. You'll get a better response. They can see, they've seen you, they've seen a photo of you, your name on there, and how they can order. So I like to say they can call me, they can text message me, and they can email me. I've found a lot of retailers, and especially chefs in restaurants, they'll just text message an order through. They don't have time to jump on the phone for 3 or 4 minutes, but they can quickly pull their phone out and say, hey, can you drop in 2 boxes of eggs later this week? It's just convenient and easy for them. So you've dropped that into the retail shop. You've now walked out, you've got the manager's name. In maybe 2 days, I'll call them up and say, hi, it's Daniel from XYZ Egg Farm. I dropped in 6 dozen eggs. And about this point of the phone call, they're like, oh yes, we saw that. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And they'll just be grateful. They're going to tell you straight away of like, oh, I haven't tried them yet, or I have. They'll start asking you questions, and feel free just to share about your farm. Like they might say, oh, so how long have you been growing eggs, or can you deliver all the time? Just answer any of their questions. If everything's going well, don't be afraid to ask for the order, meaning they've like, oh, we tried the samples, they were really good, and ask for them. Well, did you want to start with 1 or 2 boxes this week and see how they go? Now, just by asking those few words, would you like to try 1 or 2 boxes of eggs this week and see how they go? 80 to 90% of retailers will say, yes, that would be great. And you'll say, no worries, how about I drop them in on Thursday and I'll have an invoice in the box for you. And then you've just got a new customer. I've found this technique to be really easy, really effective. It's had great results. The cost of marketing is 6 dozen eggs and the time you do it in person. I've done this 3 or 4 years ago, given away 6 dozen eggs to a store, and you'd be surprised where it has led to. And some of them are just little stores, and then each and every week up till today, they've ordered 15 dozen eggs at $6 a dozen, so $90 a week for the last 3 or 4 years, just by giving away 6 dozen eggs and following up with a phone call. It's very easy. Get out there and do it. You'd be surprised how many retailers will say, yep, I'm happy to give them a go. Let's see how we go with them. I hope this video has been helpful to you, and hopefully you can get out there and market your eggs to retail stores.